So a customer asked me, oh, what's the background of tradition and what are the neighborhoods within? Well, that's a big task. It's an hour-long video, but I'll try to condense it down and see if I can summarize it in about 10 minutes or so. So hang around. Hey, I'm Stephen Kimos, a local realtor here specializing in new construction in beautiful Port St. Lucie, Florida. Now let me start with a short history. 20 plus years ago, Mattamy Homes, a Canadian company and the largest privately held builder in North America, bought a ton of land from the city of Port St. Lucie, from St. Lucie County, and some private landowners. They decided to sell parts of the area to builders such as DeVasta, Minto, Pulte, Taylor Morrison, D.R. Horton, and others. But Mattamy didn't start building their own communities until the pandemic, when the market took off in 2020. Mattamy knew they had a great thing because they had so much land that was only 2 hours from Miami, an hour and a half from Orlando, and 30 minutes or 25 minutes from the Atlantic coast. Plus there were a ton of great communities in between, like Fort Pierce, Vero, Jensen Beach, Stewart, Jupiter, Palm Beach Gardens, West Palm Beach, Wellington, Tequesta, Boca, Fort Lauderdale, and more. So they knew people would come. Now you can say whatever you want about Mattamy as a builder, but Mattamy is a fantastic master planner, as evidenced by all of tradition and what's happening down in Newfield in Martin County, just down to the south. So where Mattamy made an early mistake was not having enough amenities for the growing populations, but they're since trying to correct that with the help of the city and other contractors, with projects like the Heart of Tradition, the new entertainment district, which is just east of Village Parkway, an amphitheater district in Tradition Southern Grove, and also with parks like Western Grove Regional Park and Southern Grove Stars and Stripes Park, which are all being built in 2025. Now I do want to mention this anomaly in Tradition. So right now in the middle of Tradition is not actually Tradition. The way I understand the story is a private landowner wouldn't sell to Mattamy all this land. So despite Mattamy's repeated efforts to buy the land, he insisted on selling the land to GL Homes, who built Riverland. If you've seen my Riverland video, you know Riverland is the best over 55 community on the Treasure Coast. And it's far more affordable than any other GL community south of Orlando. Well, Riverland built their own town, surrounded by the town of Tradition. Riverland has multiple neighborhoods, all with the Valencia name, and has the most amenities, like the Arts and Cultural Center here, farm plots, their own town center, with their own Publix. It's an amazing place in its own right. To learn more about Riverland, check out my video, which is in the description below. Anyway, back to our tour of Tradition. On the tour though, let's start with the heart of it all, the Tradition Town Center. It's modeled after a 1950 style Norman Rockwell town. Here they have constant events like Trucks and Tributes, where food trucks and tribute bands play monthly, a neighborhood market every Sunday, blood drives and breast cancer screenings, an international festival, and a whole host of other festivals, concerts, and activities. There's a lot going on a regular basis at Town Square, and I left a link for the Tradition calendar in the description below that you might want to check out. So we left Town Square, and now we're up here in the north of Tradition, and we're going to go to the northwest corner, and then we'll work our way down to the south end, Southern Grove, and that'll end our tour there. On the way, we'll touch on maybe 20 or so neighborhoods and some different things in the area. So here we go. Now I do want to say in the northern end of Tradition, there are some communities that are being built like Central Park, Crosstown Commons, Astor Creek, and the established neighborhood of PGA, which is fantastic. These are all great neighborhoods, but they're not part of Tradition. They're on the outskirts of Tradition on the northern side, where they can enjoy all the Tradition amenities, but not pay the Tradition Master HOA fee. But despite not paying that Master HOA fee, the cost of living in those adjacent areas isn't any cheaper, as the CDD fees and the HOA fees kind of bring it up to what it is if you lived in Tradition anyway. So the first neighborhood on this end of Tradition, up in the northwest corner, is Esplanade by Taylor Morrison. This neighborhood is over 55 community with an amazing amenity center and a variety of floor plans to choose from. And the neighborhood is currently building new construction, but should be built out by 2026. But a fantastic community here. So heading east on Cliff Drive, we passed the Estates. The Estates is a Toll Brothers and D.R. Horton community. It's a larger community, it's gated, and the houses are between 2,000 square feet and 4,000 square feet, and there are some resales available in there, but the homes are between $500,000 and $900,000 for those larger homes. It's a nice community, well kept. So next, we drive by Vitalia. Vitalia has a couple of builders in there. One of them being Taylor Morrison. Now, this neighborhood's been built out for some time, but there's some great resale opportunities in there. Vitalia is an over 55 community with another great amenity center, and it's clean, it's well laid out, well kept with a good HOA. Now as we turn and we head south, leaving the northern part of Tradition, there are two ways to go. One way is down Village Parkway, where you'll pass some various businesses, some rental communities, and you'll end up next to some big box stores like Target on your left, and then Tradition Square will be on your right. The other way to go, and the way that we're going to take, is to go down Community Boulevard, where you'll pass three neighborhoods. The first is Victoria Park. Now, Victoria Park is a D.R. Horton community and is a place for families and first-time buyers or people moving from townhomes to single-family homes. The prices on the resales in there can be low. Some have houses at $359 to $370 for a single home. That's pretty good for the Tradition area. And I believe the HOA is relatively low in there. Now, as we move further west, we have a gated community of Heritage Oaks. This is a quaint, well-kept, all-ages community with mature trees. The neighborhood has been around since 2004, and some of the layouts are not as open as some people would like, but most of these houses have nice finishes and decent-sized lots. The houses run from 1,400 square feet up to 2,000 square feet. The houses are priced from $320 to $525. There are some great opportunities in here for retirees looking for a low-cost living or first-time home buyers. It's a super attractive community with a nice pool, a gym, and a community center. Customers who have bought in here are happy with their purchase. So next, you have two of the three original communities here in Tradition. The first, right next to Tradition Square, is Bedford Park and the Promenade. These are like town-like designs with alleyways, and some of the garages are behind the homes. And from here you can walk right to the town square, which makes it the most walkable community in Tradition. This area sold out a long time ago, but occasionally has some resales that tend to go pretty quickly. The Promenade is just east of Bedford Park and has 1- and 2-bedroom condominiums. If you like to live in a place where you can walk to everything, this area is it. So on the west side of Community Boulevard, across from the town square here, you have the Lakes. The Lakes is a Devasta community that's all ages, and it's been around for 10 or 15 years. It's in walking distance to the town square, and it's full of well-kept single-family homes with a nice pool, a community center. People take pride in living in the Lakes, and they're constantly updating their homes. So if you go east on Tradition Boulevard, you're heading toward the Western Grove part of Tradition. The next neighborhood you pass on your left is Town Park by Minto Builders. Now, Town Park is a very large neighborhood with very large houses on one side of the community. Now, this neighborhood has also been built out for many, many years and has some resale opportunities. Now, on the other side of Town Park is an over 55 section called Lake Park. There's a section with villas and a section with single-family homes by GHO Homes. And the single homes section will be built out by the end of 2025. But Taylor Morrison makes a nice house, and it's a nice gated community. And it has a community center, a gym, a pool, and the over 55 section has its separate community center and pool from the main one of Town Park, but they can use both. Now further west and to the right is Mattami's second community and its smallest gated community at 136 homes called Emery. It has a small amenity center with a small gym and pool and hot tub. Now Emery was built out in 2023, and it's a very intimate community where neighbors know each other. There are a few resale opportunities in Emery, but if people want a really small, nice family feel, Emery's the place to go. Now eventually Tradition Boulevard will go all the way through to Rangeline Road, where Tradition will end. On the other side of Rangeline Road will be Oak Ridge Ranches, or the Solaris community, which is a master plan community by Coulter, and it'll have around 8,700 homes when it's all completed. But this isn't expected to start being built until about 2028. Now here where I'm standing now, you have Seville on my right side, and you have Cadence on my left. Both are Mattamy communities. Seville is the most over 55-like community that's all ages that you can find anywhere in Tradition. Its amenities rival Esplanade and Del Webb. This is a full-time lifestyle director, a huge resort-style pool, gym, pickleball, more, a lot more. The homes are bigger and start around $480, and depending on the incentives, can go all the way up past $1 million for a 3,000 square foot home or so. Now on the left side, I have Cadence, which is a medium-sized community. Now these homes were more affordable than most of the other Mattamy communities. And there's some townhomes in there. They have some houses with some smaller lots and package upgrades instead of being able to choose your finishes, which keeps the cost down. But the houses are nicely done, but they have 8-foot ceilings and 7-foot doors instead of the requisite 8-foot doors and 9-foot ceilings that you're used to seeing in the other Mattamy communities. Cadence tends to have really good incentives, and there's some deals to be had in there, and it is a nice community. Now heading back east on Tradition Boulevard and turning south onto the community, we'll parallel Village Parkway, where on the left you'll see the Heart of Tradition and the hospital, and on the right you'll see some restaurants and shops. There are also some apartments and some rental communities on the left side of Community Boulevard on the way down, and on the right you'll see Mattamy's first community, Manderley. Manderley is another built-out community and is older and larger than its companion Emory. 2,000 square foot house in there will go for $430, $440, $460, while the larger homes can be up around the $600,000 range. Like Emory and Kenley, which we'll speak about in a little bit, it has a small amenity center with a small pool, gym, and a hot tub. Continuing south and taking a left on Discovery Parkway and then a right on Village Parkway, you come here to Tularo. Tularo is Mattamy's attempt at a 55-plus community. You know, it has modern community center, full-time lifestyle director. It mixes traditional and modern designs, and it has some villas. There's some resales and some new construction left in Tularo, but Mattamy expects Tularo to be built out by 2026. So the next community we come to is Del Webb at Tradition by Pulte Homes. Now, many people are familiar with Del Webb. They are a national, well-run and well-designed over 55 community. But if the Riverland style of over 55 community overwhelms you, then Del Webb might be right for you. It's the size of like one of Riverland's Valencia neighborhoods and has almost as many amenities, including a coastal style clubhouse, a lifestyle director, multiple pickleball and tennis courts, a ton of clubs and activities. Del Webb also offers the lowest prices on villas and single family homes of any of the over 55 communities. It's the best deal here. But I've had some customers buy a nearly 2,000 square foot house, nicely upgraded for about $435,000 in 2023, so that's not so bad. Now, directly across from Del Webb is another Pulte community, Heron Preserve. Heron Preserve is a single family home community, all ages community, with a small amenity center. It's a medium-sized community with some new construction available, but Pulte estimates that it'll be built out sometime in early 2026, as will Del Webb. Now, single-family homes in Heron Preserve can run $430, $420, $450, all the way up to $800,000. We had a couple customers find really good deals in relatively large homes because they got such good incentives here. Leaving Heron Preserve and Del Webb and going about a quarter mile down the road on Village Parkway, you make a right on Hegner Drive, where you'll find Mattamy's third sister community, Kenley. Now, Kenley, much like Manderley and Emory, they share the same models. Kenley is a little bit bigger community that is still selling new construction until about 2027. If you like Manderley and Emory, but you wanted new construction, you could get a home here for $400, $450, or less, depending on the incentives. But the homes in here also go all the way up to $800, $900. Now, as you continue south down Village Parkway, you'll see the Jobs Corridor of Tradition, which parallels the west side of I-95. Now, besides the modern warehouses, there's a technology section in there and a section with loft-style residences and retail establishments. And it's also got the second town center that's going to be built right next to that town center. And it's going to be more like an urban, modern kind of neighborhood that's being developed next to the Job Corridor. Now, as you head further west on Becker in Southern Grove, right here by the amphitheater district, We come to Belterra. Now, Belterra is GHO Homes' ambitious attempt at a high-end, all-ages community with a beautiful clubhouse and activity center. It really is beautiful. Belterra probably has the best, well-designed, best furnished, and beautiful models anywhere in tradition. The homes are larger, and each home comes with a pool. Now, the starting price down here at Belterra is in the 600s and goes all the way up to well over $1 million. And down here, continuing on Becker, you're going to find another master plan community from a builder out of West Palm Beach with homes starting in the mid 500s and going up from there. But that isn't supposed to start until about 2028. Now, one thing I wanted to say about all of these tradition neighborhoods and houses, from a smaller house in Manderley to a larger house in Belterra, any of these houses would cost hundreds of thousands of dollars more if you went further south. Now, many of our clients are from areas down south, and they commute because they can get much more house for the money in a safe, well-designed master plan community up here in tradition in Port St. Lucie. The rest of the bulk of our customers usually come from out of state, and many of them are retirees. But it is a beautiful place you need to come check out. So one last thing I wanted to show you is an aerial view of Port St. Lucie. Now, immediately you can visually see the change in design west of 95 versus east of 95. Now, don't get me wrong, there's some great communities east of 95 and some especially nice communities in St. Lucie West and closer to the coast. I mean, I for one love Riverland out there in the center of Port St. Lucie. But the areas west of 95 were recently designed by civic engineers, and it just has an advantage in feel and functionality. Overall, Port St. Lucie is a great, safe town, but you can see on the left side of your picture here, you have many more open spaces, much more lakes, and just a more modern designed city. Where on the right is kind of an older designed city. So I wanted to point that out as you're looking throughout Port St. Lucie, you know, where you might want to be. And that concludes our tour of tradition and its neighborhoods from north to south. I hope you found this information interesting. If you did, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. And as always, if you have any questions, my information is on the screen and in the description below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.